There's people think there's something wrong with being gay, so what you really are is a girl. These kids will just grow up to be gay men, and instead you're getting them to convert their gender.
It's pharmaceutical conversion therapy. It's pharmaceutical conversion therapy.
Okay, this is big. At least I hope it will be big, and that's not because I'm a size queen. I mean, size is good, but there's also such a thing as too big. But here we have the candidate for vice president talking to Joe Rogan on the biggest podcast in the world, 3 billion listeners, about the medical scandal that is transing away the gay. It's kind of similar to praying away the gay, where obviously religion is used to try and somehow make a gay person straight.
With Jesus I can just say no and not be confused anymore.
Transing away the gay is a phrase that I and others have been using for a number of years to talk about how so-called gender-affirming care is actually a form of gay medical conversion. When we talk about this, we're very often told, it's not happening, nobody's doing this, what are you talking about, oh my god.
Transphobic.
So how do we know this is going on? Well, in summary, clinicians have been ringing the alarm about this for years.
Really worried clinicians would say, maybe we're medicating gay kids. And if we are, we're doing something quite dangerous.
We have the testimonies of gays and lesbians who are detransitioners.
It mostly was the internalized homophobia, that feeling that being attracted to girls or, women now, something's wrong with me and something's wrong about that attraction.
One of the reasons why I transitioned was because I didn't want to be a gay man. I said to the therapist, I could never imagine myself as a man with a man, but I could imagine myself as a woman with a man. And she went, yeah, that must be because you're trans. Not because I hated myself because I was gay. Not because I had horrific homophobia in school.
Research with detransitioners also shows that struggling with their homosexuality was a reason for them going down a medical path. And there's the data from youth clinics that shows that youngsters who are attracted to those of the same sex are overwhelmingly overrepresented.
GIDS's data for every single young person that was referred to them in 2012, of the ones they have data for, which is the sort of the older ones, they didn't ask the very young kids, I think 90% of the girls identified as either same-sex attracted or bisexual, and 80% of the boys. And then in slightly more recent stats, those come down to about 70% and 60% respectively, but they're still incredibly high.
And to top it off, here is Achim Wusthoff, the doctor who sterilized Kim Petras, saying this in one of his medical papers. Debate continues over the question whether an early hormone treatment iatrogeneously cements and fixates a certain development, thereby possibly preventing a homosexual development. I am prepared to take on the risk of this interference with nature.
Ja, es gibt einfach ein Recht auch auf Irren.
And we've seen parents in documentaries or doing TED Talks where they make it clear that they would much rather have a trans daughter than a girly gay son.
I had a very sensitive, quite effeminate little boy who was probably gay. But Jack's dad did not approve of our child's effeminate behaviour.
I remember even thinking before Kai was 3 that I think this kid might be gay. And I thought that could not happen, and that would not happen. We started praying fervently. Prayers turned into Googling conversion therapy and how can we implement these techniques at home to make Kai not be like this. Spanking her, really spanking her.
Ella was never a boy. I mean, she might have had male genitalia, but she was a girl from the moment she was born.
I saw her run off to camp after she transitioned, and that's just like a girl running. Instead of look at my son, he runs like a girl.
I'll do more of a deep dive video on all of this so you've got everything in one place. It's so good to hear politicians acknowledge that this is happening, because it's an all-out assault on gays. In the UK, politicians have raised it as well. The first one to do it in the Houses of Parliament was Neil Hanvey. This was then picked up by Kemi Badenoch, who actually used the phrase transing away the gay at the dispatch box in the House of Commons.
I know that the member for Kirkcaldy and Cowdenbeath talked about transing away the gay in his speech in Westminster Hall debate. We are seeing, I would say, almost an epidemic of young gay children being told that they are trans and being put on a medical pathway for irreversible decisions, and they are regretting it. That is what I'm doing, and we are not going to run away from this issue any longer.
For me, these moments are huge, and I'm so glad that I had the chance to actually speak to Kemi directly and thank her for raising this issue. And Kemi has just today been declared the leader of the Conservative Party, so hurrah! Okay, the US elections are coming up, in a few days, and Trump has made it very clear where he stands on many of these trans issues.
We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports.
So my hope is that if he gets elected, and with Vance as his vice president, they will properly tackle this homophobic medical practice across the United States. And not just the gays and the lesbians, obviously, but it's so important that this homophobic side of it is acknowledged and addressed. So thank you, Mr. Rogan, and thank you, Mr. Vance, for putting it out so plainly on such a big platform. I'm hoping others will follow. There's way too many gays who aren't aware of this, or are denying it's happening, or are, cheerleading for all this gender crap. Will this finally wake them up? I really hope so, but I doubt it. Because if they're denying that it's happening, they're not going to listen to a Christian Republican guy saying it, will they? They'll just go, oh my God, Christian, Republican, homophobe. Whereas if Beyonce gets up and goes, they're like, yes, queen. But I do hope that it will get through to the other gays who aren't going along with all this gender shit. What fans might call the normal gays.
I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote. Because, again, they just wanted to be left the hell alone, and now you have all this crazy stuff on top of it that they're like, well, no, we didn't want to give pharmaceutical products to 9-year-olds who are transitioning their genders. We just wanted to be left the hell alone.
Well, a lot of gay guys feel like the whole movement is homophobic.
And if they take issue with him being a Republican saying it and a Christian, well, then speak up yourself as a non-Republican and as a non-Christian and redress that balance. Shame on those left-wing politicians who are either ignoring this or denying it. Because gay conversion under any other guise, they find abhorrent. But when it's in the name of gender, somehow it's all okay. And if we as gay people call this out, we get called transphobes and bigots. The gaslighting and shaming is off the scale. So, what has been the reaction to this from the other side? Well, here's the response by Kamala Harris's presidential campaign's Twitter account.
I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote.
What does he mean? So they're completely ignoring the medical gay conversion side of it and instead take issue with the word normal. Oh my God, normal. What do you mean by normal?
To know what the where the line is between a normal gay person and a not normal gay person.
And here's Jeffrey Marsh jumping on that as well.
Just the normal gay guy vote?
What?
Because, again, they just wanted to be left the hell alone, and now you have all this crazy stuff on top of it that...
Oh no. I would guess, and please, normal gay guys, let me know in the comments, that our community would remember how we were treated and demonized in the 80s and 90s, and even the normal gay guys then were seen as subhuman.
Now going, oh my God, don't you know how gay people have been demonized for years, is quite a weird argument to make when here you literally have a Christian Republican saying normal gay people, okay? So for a guy like that to actually acknowledge that there are normal gay people, I would say is a step forward. And for Jeffrey to go, oh no, they're saying that we're not normal.
I'm the crazy stuff, I guess. I'm a they, them.
Everything he does is about wanting to be seen as not normal. That's what all this queer stuff is about. We're not normal. We're queer. That's why you get these straight couples, like a man and a woman who've had a few children and suddenly they're queer because the husband wears nail polish. Simon Best once said it at an LGBT Alliance conference.
The biggest mistake the gay rights movement made was convincing a generation of heterosexuals that it was boring to be straight. Because that's what the alphabet is all about.
Listen to this woman. Again, she's a woman married to a man, but she calls herself queer, and this is what she has to say about the future of queer.
Look at you, you're so beautiful. You are the new world. We want to show them that we are every color of the rainbow, that there is no normal anymore, that this is the new normal.
Well, if queer is the new normal, then normal is the new queer, and that's how queer will eventually unqueer itself. But Jeffrey, if you want to know what it means to be a normal gay versus an abnormal gay,
please, normal gay guys, let me know in the comments.
Here's a few hints. Normal gays don't go around calling themselves queer. Normal gays don't go around putting their pronouns in their bio. Normal gays don't believe that lesbians have penises and gay men vaginas. Normal gays recognize the harms of gender-affirming care, particularly for youngsters, particularly for those who will simply grow up to be gay or lesbian. Normal gays will eye roll at the concept of splendor gender, bubble gender, star gender, season gender.
Did you know, however, there is a gender identity that is linked to the seasons? This is called gender season.
And normal gays will see issues with drag queens twerking in front of kids in a thong. Right? And on Twitter, some guys are very happy to show that they are a normal gay and not a gender clown like Jeffrey Marsh, Dylan Mulvaney or Sam Brinton. Dylan, by the way, actually seems to value normal quite a bit when it suits him.
I walked by this couple at the party and the guy goes, "Whoa, it's scary, Dorothy." And I was like, "No, I'm just normal, Dorothy."
Well, I don't want to be a friend of that Dorothy. So all in all, I'm very thankful that Joe and JD Vance were talking about this on, the biggest podcast in the world, and others better start pulling their weight about this as well, especially those on the left. Because again, gay conversion under any other guise is acknowledged as being abhorrent, but when it comes to gender-affirming care, it gets a free pass. No, those days are over. Okay, the word is out. Now it's time to get this crap out of these gender clinics.
And we are not going to run away from this issue any longer.
In fact, shut all these gender clinics down and send these people off for proper psychological support. And we need to protect the gays and the lesbians and those kids who aren't quite sure what's going on at the moment in terms of their sexual orientation, so that when they do realize, hey, I'm just a lesbian, or hey, I'm just a gay guy, they haven't had their dicks or breast or wombs removed. At least give them a chance. We don't know the half of all the damage that has been done to the gays and the lesbians. And every time I hear another story, it just breaks my heart.
This is what happens when you give a woman testosterone. This is for 5 years. This is what happens, essentially.
This is the truth. I'm an almost 30-year-old man. This is what I look like. This is what I sound like as an almost 30-year-old man. This is what happens when you let people transition in adolescence before they've had a chance to grow up.
Patrick de Veen, a Dutch gay male detransitioner, was granted euthanasia, but unsure whether to go ahead with it.
Als ik tegen Gert zou zeggen van Gert, ik wil een einde aan mijn leven, dan helpt hij mij. Alleen ook dat is een hele grote stap en ook dat is weer onherroepelijk.
Es gibt einfach ein Recht auch auf Irre.
These are not trans stories. These are the stories of gays and lesbians. And that's part of our history as gays and lesbians. And we cannot let this medical abuse continue.
These kids will just grow up to be gay men, and instead you're getting them to convert their gender.
It's pharmaceutical conversion therapy.
I thought it just wasn't a thing anymore for people to think it's not okay to be gay, but it is. And it's not me saying that. Like, every clinician I spoke to said that so many of those young people were same-sex attracted, even those that spoke really favourably about the work.
I think that part of the trans epidemic is that kids did not feel and do not feel like it's okay to be gay, and that they feel like it's almost better to be trans.
The phrase people use is "you're transing away the gay."
Yeah. And that means we have to go back to square one and really deal with homophobia.
So, stop transing away the gay. I'll leave it there. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my PayPal and Patreon supporters. Because of you, I can make videos like this. Special shout out to my big spenders. Help Her Open, Mama Turv and the Turventines, Me Julie, The Lovely Mary, Julia, Dusty, Judels, Leffy, Dorothy, Wildfire, Esther, and Martha. Thank you.